Hey, I'm up in Edinburgh at the Fringe. I assume it's the lighting that is making me look greyer than ever, but it may also be the general stress of having shows to do. What's been dominating the news, of course, this week is the launch of the Bibby Stockholm, which is that horrendous prison ship that they are intending to lock hundreds of asylum seekers in. And of course, reports from, for example, the fire brigade saying it's not safe, people shouldn't be there, and that it's a disaster waiting to happen. We should, of course, remember that the number of asylum seekers that are likely to be housed there will still be a tiny, tiny fraction of the number of asylum seekers stuck in our system waiting to be processed and have their claims assessed. Many of them stuck in those hotels, which are unsafe. Many of them stuck in other accommodation, which is unsafe and unsuitable. And many of them actually, left to their own devices on budgets which just none of us could manage to live on. In some cases, budgets of absolutely zero, and surviving from hand to mouth between charities while not allowed to work, while trying to save up money to pay for some kind of legal representation and some support with their case, while the Home Office makes them wait and wait and wait, quite often for literally decades. At the same time, the government has announced this week the launch of their Professional Enablers Task Force. And this organisation has actually been around for months, so it's all a little bit smoke and mirrors that they're suddenly making a song and dance about it now. But what they're saying is that this special organisation is there to crack down on those dodgy immigration lawyers who are encouraging people to make false claims. And first of all, if you read even the government's own documents, they say the vast majority of immigration lawyers are absolutely sticking to the letter of the law and are doing, the correct and responsible job, which is interesting, isn't it? That the vast majority are actually, doing exactly the right thing, because that vast majority are also the ones saying that the Illegal Migration Act is completely unworkable. The Law Society says that. They're the same people saying that the backlog on cases is totally unacceptable and that the system needs to be changed because the way that it runs now is a breach of people's human rights. And it's not even economically sensible because people can't work while they're waiting for their cases to be processed. It means that it just leaves people in our system who want to go out and get jobs and are unable to do so. But also, this idea that, these dodgy people are helping illegal claims to be made. It is the job of lawyers to help people make their claim. And it is then the job of the people who, at the Home Office, receive those claims to assess whether they're legal or not. Because somebody makes a claim and it bounces doesn't mean that they shouldn't have made a claim. It's like if you go to court and you lose, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have gone to court. You might still have been right, actually, but, the court has ruled against you. And it's a really, really worrying precedent because at the moment they're going after lawyers and it's going to make lawyers feel really, really uncomfortable about, taking on cases where there is contradictory evidence and there's perhaps a lack of paperwork or things like that. But they're also talking about expanding it and going after, they say, doctors, accountants and employers. So they could potentially be putting people in professional roles like doctors into a situation where they're being asked for their medical opinion and warned that if the Home Office later decides that that wasn't the right opinion, they could have their job put at risk. The same with accountants trying to help people to get their finances in order and sorting those kind of things out. Employers checking people's status and ability to work. They're effectively saying that you're going to have to be super, super paranoid. And a lot of what is going to happen is that people across the board are going to be uncomfortable engaging with migrants, with asylum seekers, regardless of whether their claims are legitimate, whether they do have the right paperwork to be here, whether in fact their migration status might be completely different and completely legal, because they're afraid that if they make the wrong decision, they will be chased after. And I'm afraid to say that this has very, very clear parallels to what happened before, Nazi Germany began its more aggressive persecution of Jewish, Gypsy Roma traveller communities, gay communities, disabled communities. This situation where your legal professional status could be put at risk if you were seen to help the wrong people. And we have to be really clear that we're not going to be cowed into shying away from being involved with these people in our communities and supporting them, because the one thing that asylum seekers in the UK really, really need is support from right across the community. And I'm really proud to say that over the years I've done lots of voluntary work with Women Asylum Seekers Together and Women for Refugee Women, and I've done shows with the Refugee Council and lots of organisations that support migrants. And I would encourage everyone, if you can, to get involved in some way or another and just make sure that people know that we're not going to be intimidated into withdrawing our support from these people who need it the most. Thank you very much. See you next week.
Increasingly, the mainstream media is terrible at informing the public of what is really going on. I'm only able to make these videos because people are generous enough to sponsor me making them, and if you're able to be a part of that, I would hugely appreciate it. It can cost as little as $1 a month, and you'll get loads of fun bonus content and lots of extras from me, and my undying gratitude. I also massively appreciate it if you're able to like, share these videos and let people out there know what's going on.